Okay.
Hi guys,
Hello.
we are back.
Week 2.
Week 2 of
Back.
September.
And we are on time.
We are
So,
on time. Even though I think it's probably, well, no, it's still week 2 of September. I was thinking it. School has been in for multiple, that's what I'm thinking. School's been in for like 4
yeah.
weeks now, like 3 or 4 weeks now. And so that's where my brain's like, is it more than just week 2? And I'm like, wait, no. We're still in September. Week 2 of September.
That's funny. Well, the impossible happened. I finished reading the Songbird and the Heart of Stone, and the day before yesterday, and then I started The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk last night, which I'm not very far into it, so we can talk about that. But I finished this book, and lo and behold, somebody was right. I won't say who, because, you know.
Is it me? Am I right? Is it me? It feels weirdly similar to, am I the problem? I'm not the problem. Am I the problem? It feels weirdly similar to this. Am I the one that was right?
Yeah, I'm the problem. That's what we're figuring out here. It's all me. So I legitly don't. Okay, keep in mind it's been a while since I've read the first 2 books, and I may have like the high of excitement of coming off of this book, but I feel like this could be my favorite in the series so far, or at least one of. I'd have to reread the other ones to see how they directly compare.
I would say that it steps up each book. I would say that this one we just finished was probably. I wasn't as excited about it at the second read, but I feel like because I knew all of the plot twists, I knew all the emotional moments, so it's like I wasn't experiencing that for the first time. But like when I was first reading it, it was definitely like, it is probably the book that I was like, other than the one that I was like severely angry about last week, like this one was the one where it's like I had it in my head what I thought she was going to do. And then at like the last minute, it does like this complete like and goes off a different direction, and I loved that.
Spoiler alerts for anybody who hasn't read this book, because we're gonna get into it.
Oh, major spoilers.
The twist where Atroxis. Okay, I can't remember the names of the 2 gods, so I'm just gonna say the Sun God and the Death God, because I can never keep those 2 names straight. The only name I can keep straight is Asar, and that's because I love it. So whenever the Sun God revealed to her the twist that she was the one who killed her sister, I actually called that. But it was still emotional to experience like the memory through her, and her remembering it was so traumatic and stuff. I really loved that. I love how toxic the Sun God is. I had a feeling the reason why Asar, after they had the visit, like we knew he got visited by somebody, we didn't know what they said, and leading up to the ritual, I had a feeling that's why he was like savoring the moment and stuff, was because he was gonna die in the ritual. So I saw, like, basically I saw everything coming, but it was written in such a way that was still so, like, oh my gosh, like, what a whirlwind of an ending. Because it's just, like, it was so and the fact that, like, she grabbed onto his soul and, like, didn't want to let him go, and it was neither him nor the Death God. And it's just, like, and when she goes, I was like, just kill the Sun God, and she does, and then that's like, he burns her up, and I'm just like, and then she brings him back, and he's just holding on to her, and I'm just like, I could not, like, you just have to keep reading. It is just, like, so breathless. Like, oh my gosh. And, like, him pleading with them and, like, not wanting her to die, and the fact that the other gods of the white, Daxia, him didn't save her because she was mad that they didn't bring her lover back. The white pantheon was ticked that she just killed the Sun God. So they just take him away and slaughter her in front of him. And I'm just like, and can I just say, the final chapter from Asar's POV, where this goes beyond touch her and die. Like, she's already dead. They've already killed her. That trope to the max.
Like, we see little glimpses of that. Like, we see little glimpses of that when they're, like, their companion there for a while. I forget his name, because he was just so insignificant in my head that I always forget his name. Starts with, like, an A or an E or something. Elias.
It's an E.
Elias. Like, there's one point where he, like, hits her, and he gets very, like, don't touch her. Like, you do not touch her. And I'm like, ah! And then we get at the last chapter, and we just, like, are like, it's like a bucket of just, like, on top of us. And I'm like, yes!
And the fact that, like, the first time that happened, I remember what part you're talking about, and it's like, you don't need to say, don't touch her. Like, he didn't need to say it. Like, you could just, it's a whole level of wrath. And her being a masterful writer, like, this is one of my favorite lines of all time. It's like, okay, hold on, I gotta get to where her, hold on, where was it? No. Okay, yeah, the last lines of the book, major spoiler alerts, you've been warned, click away. If I were a god of the sun, I would have given her endless dawns and warm hearths. If I were a god of the sea, I would have given her cool rains on hot nights and currents that always brought her home. If I were a god of vitality, I would have given her sweet fruit and spring flowers. I would have given her anything, everything, because that was what she deserved. Every single thing she had loved fully and completely about mortality. But I am not a god of any of those things. I have only one gift to lay at her feet, and so I wait.
But it's like, there's like times where it's just like there's one quote here. It's like, she was like, so what then? I choked. I will have nothing left if I don't have the light anymore. Nothing. I will have nothing. And it's like that part where he's like, is that what you think of yourself? That everything good about you comes from an effing church? Atraxas didn't make you special by choosing you. He chose you because you already were. And even when you were 8 years old, he knew that. You owe him nothing. Nothing. And I'm like, ah! And then that quote later on where it talks about how I will tell you what you have if you lose the sun, Misha. You'll have a soul gentler than any vampire I've ever known. You'll have an incredible magic and the skill to wield it before that, better than that, who gave it to you. You'll have a soft heart and a sharp wit and a wisdom to know when to use one or the other. You'll have countless insane questions and horrible tasting food and a penchant for making lost souls love you. And I'm just like, ah! Yeah. Like, just that whole, like, profession of, like, it's just so intense.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that was actually the exact moment you were reading. And then one actually made me cry. I'm trying to find what it was, because I like I like related to what she said. I'm just trying to find where it is. I took pictures of all these, but they're all on my phone. It's just like, okay, hold on. It may have actually been before this. Nope, I think it was actually before this. But yeah, it was just like, there were so many lines and things. It was just like, just full of feels and just, he writes good.
The bottom of 301 has another good one. He's like, I won't let you die here because you're too ashamed to live, Misha. You are so much more than this, and it would be wasted to throw all that magnificent away. For what? Because the sun told you to hate yourself? No, I won't allow that. It's just like,
so good.
I know.
But yeah, it was something about how she had never allowed herself to, like, feel good before.
Oh, yes, I remember that part. I forget what part's that at.
I related. Yeah, I like related so much to her in that line. Okay, here we go. 276. I had been hurting for so long that I had forgotten what it was like for something to feel good. And gods, it felt so good that it hurt. It reached past my scars, past my wounds, to the neglected version of myself that I'd long ago abandoned. Yes. And it's just, he's touching her arm or kissing her, and it's nothing spicy, but it's such this gentle, like, she's not allowed herself any sort of affection. And I related to that so much. Like, that line hit me so hard when I read that. Oh,
I know. And, like, there's one part earlier on when she's referencing Rain and Araya, and she makes the comment that if she answers things a specific way or she does things a specific way because she knows that if they were to kill her there and send her head back to to Rain and them, that he would start a whole war for her, and she was like, he can't do that. Like, she knows that he's such on a fine line anyway that he just can't do that.
Yeah, for sure. And
I love it.
I don't know, it's just so good. And again, she's a strong female character, but Asar gets his time to shine. Like, he's the only reason why they make it down that way. And they're literally like one of my favorite romantic couples because there's so much friendship and emotional connection and building between them as they go through this together. And then they also relate to each other in very different ways, like because of like their past, which we don't know much about Asar, but just and all of that. So it feels very earned by the time they finally get to be together.
Like, their lust and physical attraction is like non-existent at the beginning. Like, that's not.
Oh my god.
That's not even on their mind at all. And it's like, it's just so realistic in that thing of like, the longer they spend together, the more they kind of get to know each other more, and then it just kind of blossoms from there, and it makes it so much more satisfying.
It really does. And then all of the other stuff that it's just like so many different twists. So when she dies and she wakes up in the underworld and Vincent shows up, I did not see that.
I know, I didn't either. I did not see that either. I was just like,
goodness,
so shocked, and I'm like, oh, we're bringing this character back. Okay. Like, I thought he was done. But apparently not.
It's just like so intense and everything. So I really liked the prologue of the first book because we're getting Asar's past. So I'm so interested to kind of get to know more. And right now I'm at Misha's perspective as she's still talking to Vincent. He's trying to explain what she did by killing Sun God. So I'm not quite very far yet. But yeah, I'm really interested. The only thing that I just want to be careful. I hope that it's careful in the sense that, like, when franchises just in general start bringing characters back from the dead and you're messing with the underworld and stuff, sometimes I've just seen it, like, Supernatural's really bad at this, the TV show, because then it's like character deaths don't mean anything because people just keep coming back and it's easy. I don't think she's gonna fall into that trap, but it always just worries me that there's gonna be no risk factor because it just, people do it so, like, not the right way so many times that it's like everybody falls into that trap. But I have a feeling it's not just gonna be easy. It can't be an easy solution for any of it.
Like, all of her series are, like, all of her books are very uniquely different from one another, and it's like they're different enough that I don't feel like she's gonna fall into this kind of hole that I feel like people like Sarah J. Maas have gotten into, where I've gotten to the point where I can almost call what Sarah's gonna do in her books. Like, by Crescent City book 3, I kind of figured out, like, I was kind of anticipating what was gonna happen, and it's just becoming very, very, very predictable. And it's like, so far at least, I don't feel like things were predictable to a sense. Like I'm always the type of person where it's like, I don't want the characters to die, and so it's like I'm always rooting for the ending where everyone's okay, because that's just kind of how I am. Like, you know, but it's like I don't ever want to root for a character to die, but at the same time I can see the concerns, because, like, if you kill a character off, then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? But it's like, I don't think it'll fall into that trap, purely because she's added all these different layers to the underworld and to, like, hell, so to speak. And so she's added all these other layers. And so it's like, she's already proven that, like, when they were trying to bring back the previous god, and there was, like, a lot of steps that they had to go through to even to get to that point, and then it wasn't fully completed. And so it's like, I'm wondering if it isn't going to be one of those, like, Hades and Persephone kind of things, where she's still dead, but she's with him. That's kind of my prediction. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I just have to wait and see where this book goes.
I want them to have a happy ending. I obviously want them to have a happy ending, but it needs to feel like earned, like not where it's not too easy. But I don't think she's gonna fall into that. And also, it's just like, even with side characters, it's like, oh well, if you can, it's not. She did a good job of making it not easy to bring people back, but it's like, because you also have the idea of Asar when his first lover died and he tried to bring her back. Look how badly that screwed her up. So it ups the risk factor for like being careful what you do. So, and I brought up Supernatural because it's the only other thing I can remotely compare to this, because that's one of the things where characters die and then they get brought back. Like literally every other season, Sam or his brother Dean, it's either one of them dying, the other one brings the other one back, and the price to pay is like the next one dies, and there's something. And like sometimes it's okay because it's like you have what the character goes through and endures becomes the emotional weight and what you're wanting to read, or the whatever. But it gets, like you said with Sarah J Maas, it kind of gets really predictable. So but yeah, and then
with what happened with Asar's first love, I think even if the possibility of her getting brought back is ever brought up, I think he's going to be extremely hesitant, and I think there's enough trauma to do with that first event that I think that in and of itself is going to make him hesitate to bring her back. There's going to be a hesitation there purely because of that whole experience, I would imagine, anyway.
I can see that for sure. So I'm also interested. I love how at the end of the Songbird in the Heart of Stone, how he was like, I don't care where I am. I don't care what they're doing to me. I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to find Misha. And then that ending that we already read with the good quote and everything, and how, and so I'm interested to see what is kind of going on his side of things and what's going on there. And like I said, like, I think I mentioned this vaguely in my review video on my main channel, which I haven't posted or anything, but it's like both characters are physically in unique places, and also their character arcs and emotional arcs and all that stuff are also in unique places. So it kind of keeps me hooked in the sense that it makes me want to know what's going to happen in both POVs, because it's such a interesting place that they're both in very different ways.
Definitely.
But how far are you through this book, just out of curiosity?
I'm in the middle of a chapter, but I forget which chapter it is. I just started chapter 4.
Okay. Cool.
Which we kind of just like jump and run pretty quick, so it's like the first chapter kind of gets us established, and then we just kind of jump and go.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, pretty exciting.
So, like, what were your initial thoughts with, like, the prologue, like, the first of the background chapters, like, with the prologue?
I'm in love. Like, I honestly cannot gush on it enough. I was fangirling and reading, and, like, one of those things where, like, it was so, I don't know how to explain this. It's almost like, it was so good. I had to read it again to make sure I was reading it right, because it was so good. I couldn't wrap my head around how good it was. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense.
But like the parallel with the first one, where it's like, this is the tale of how a chosen one falls.
Exactly.
And she does it screaming with clawing and all that stuff. And then this is the tale of how a fallen one ascends, and it's referring to him. The parallel and it's perfect parallel storytelling. Like, I've said it so many times, she's a master writer, she's a master storyteller. It's so good.
That makes me wonder if, like, how the chosen one falls and the fallen one ascends, like, it makes me wonder if she isn't going to let Misha stay dead
somehow. Like, I don't know, like more of a bittersweet ending where it's like there's something.
They're still together, but it's not like. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not together. Yeah.
I would be interested to get Rain and Araya's like a glimpse of their perspective on that, especially Rain.
Yes.
Given the price to pay.
Yeah.
And also, I'm interested to see how the sun god's death is going to affect everything. Mm-hmm. And this continuation of Naxia's story and the White Pantheon, yes. And like what all is going to happen now.
Mm-hmm. And it's like,
so it's just like,
yeah. And like on Carissa's page, she made some kind of comment, like when they were talking about, like, you know how like the authors do like the book cover and then they have little things coming off of it. Like whenever mm-hmm. she was talking about this series, the one, it was essentially like the last book was called the grand finale, and that makes me wonder. Maybe to pull up this post if I can see if I can find the post, because I don't. It's the way she worded it makes me like, okay, what's the plan here? What do we do? Okay, so this is the Daughter of No Worlds, Crown of Naxia. Is it the reading order? No, it's not. Okay. Oh, it's this one. Okay. So there's Serpent and Wings of Night, Six Scorched Roses, Ashes and the Starcursed King, Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, and then there's the Songbird and the Heart of Stone, Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk, The Lion and the Deathless Dark, and then this one, it says Epic Finale is what it's labeled. Coming in 2027. It says Epic Finale.
Oh.
So I don't know what that means.
Right.
And it says titled to be revealed. And it says it's like coming in 2027.
See, the interesting thing about the way that she structured it being a series of duologies is that with book 5, we're going to be introduced to a new couple and a new storyline. Mm-hmm. And so the second book will be finishing up that story. Like this one mm-hmm. is continuing this story.
Yeah.
So for it to be an epic finale for all of them is intriguing, because it's not going to be like Kingdom of Ash. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering how it's going to be an epic finale. You know what I'm saying? Like that's...
I wonder, like a part of me wonders if there's something that's going to happen with the Shadowborn, like vampires, like their kingdom, mm-hmm. that's going to cause like a 3, I don't know. But mm-hmm. the release date for book 5 is August of next year. So a little under a year.
Nice. I feel like that'll actually help me get distance from Misha and Asar by the time that one comes out. So I'll be ready for book 5.
I think so too. Yeah.
But so I just accidentally saw another. Yes. Yeah, I get this one done. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I was in a reading slump until I think when I switched to rereading this one, and that got me out of my reading slump. And yeah, I need some relaxing me time because I've got some scary stuff coming up next month. So it's nice to just get my head. I mean, reading is escapism. Yeah. For people. So that's why people love to read. So that's kind of what this is. So it's going to be nice.
Yes.
I feel like I'm going to have withdrawal actually from this one, which is very ironic considering. So I don't know what I'm going to read next. That'll be an interesting conundrum.
I think I'm going to like read some of like the single books that have sounded interesting that I bought that I just have never read, like When the Moon Hatched. Mm-hmm. The one that was the Viking themed one, what was that one that I keep putting in my TBR, but I never actually read it. Like, I feel like
it's on my Kindle.
There's like a handful of like books that I have that I like been meaning to read and I want to read, and I just don't.
I think you're gonna like the Viking one because I told you how I started reading the prologues before I buy books because I tend to buy them and then not like something in it. Mm-hmm. So I started reading that one and I almost couldn't get myself to stop. But at the time I was trying to get through, I think Outlander, and I was trying to finish up the Mr. Ballin's book, and then I knew I was going to start this one, so I was like, I can't read that one because this one's next. Yeah. So that was on my Kindle, and it's got like Skyrim, Norse kind of vibes so far, like more historical, the less fantasy. But I remember you mentioning that you like that kind of vibe, so
we'll have to read that one together next once we finish this one. That'll have to be our next one endeavor. Ooh, there's thunder.
Yeah. I know I need to read. I'm probably going to read Annis Alien book 3 around the time of in early October.
There was a couple more, like, single fantasy ones that I've been wanting to read, too, before I jump into that one. But, yeah, that'll have to be one in the future that we...
That'll be one we read together. I love that. Yes. I really love that idea. So real quick, I'm just going to touch on a couple Kickstarters. I only have 2 this time. Actually, one's a Kickstarter, one's just a book that I, and the author flopped. So this one is called Blood in Bordeaux, a paranormal women's dark fantasy romance. If ACOTAR was about a fierce middle-aged single mom forced to play consort in a deadly vampire...
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Sweet. Description. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sweet. Oh. Sweet. Sweet. Gotcha. Awesome. Also, if anyone in the live stream hears thunder, that's me. It's random pop-up showers most of the day today, which I'm not complaining because it means I don't have to water my flowers tonight. So, plus the grass is currently dying, so I will take any rain that we get. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Might as well. Yes. Okay, what was I... Okay, so let me look up the dates of this so I can know the... Okay, so September 11th through September 14th, so yesterday, was the Twilight Forever in Forks Festival. And so apparently this year is Twilight's 20th anniversary. So it came out 20 years ago. I know. was just thinking that. I'm like, whoo. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's the 20th. My internet's not loading at the moment. But, it was October of 2025. So October 5th. So the 20th anniversary hasn't come up yet, which kind of plays into some things. I found a notebook, so I'm writing my notes down. Okay, so a couple things that I guess the live stream, that was one page live streamed it, but the connection wasn't the greatest, so there was like cutting in and out. So they had like this Q&A thing, and there's a lady on Instagram, her name, and I will try to find her very quickly, just because she's the one that I got this stuff, the announcements from, and so I didn't want to go without mentioning her at least. My Carlisle is her name on Instagram. I'm pretty sure, yeah. But she had kind of went through, and because I've seen clips from people that were there, or like clips from the live stream, but I haven't actually seen the whole thing. But some of the biggest things, a lot of the fans were hoping that she would announce a new book in the series. And there's been kind of a debate on what, if there would be a new book in the series, what it would be about, or what people would want. There are those people that want the Jacob and Renesmee story, but there's a lot of people that want, like, maybe something with Leia, or, like, a love triangle, like, something where Renesmee kind of doesn't end up in a relationship with Jacob, kind of thing, or maybe like a love triangle where she doesn't end up with Jacob, which I honestly think it would be really neat if she ended up with the other hybrid. I think that I forget his name. I love Jacob, and I think it would be fun if Jacob found love outside of Renesmee. It just, as an adult, I know, and it's like, I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's just like, I think that's where it's like, yeah, I think so too. I can, as an adult, I think that they would have been a good, because they were like finding like healing through like mutual rejection. I think that would be kind of a neat concept. But, yeah, like, definitely. But it's like, I would like a book from his perspective just to kind of see how he works through all that. But it's like, Sunder. Yeah. But it's like, I like the idea of having Jacob and Renesmee together, but now, like, he was in love with her mom, and he's technically his mom's age. I don't know. It feels like double standard. It feels like double standard-ish because Edward is so much older than Bella, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, honestly. Yeah. They make it so obvious. Yes. Yeah. It's, yeah. And usually, like, with love triangles, the typical ending of a love triangle, like, the way it works is most of the time they make one character overly extremely good, and that's obviously the end game choice. And then you have one character that's painfully obvious, it's painfully you're like, as a reader, you're painfully aware that they are just the best friend that is in love with them, and they're never going to get past the best friend stage, or they're a complete a-hole, and it's very obvious of that. And it's like they're very toxic. And it's like, I just wish that we could have like a genuine love triangle where both options were almost equal with one another, and you had no idea who she was going to pick in the end, because in picking one person, it would be like a bittersweet type of choice, because the other person is going to get like hurt painfully. Like, both people are going to get hurt if the other choice is rejected. Like, that's what I want in a love triangle. I want it to be painful. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I agree with you. It definitely feels like the whole Renesmee bit was just kind of a toss-in at the end, because she didn't want to leave Jacob hanging and leave him like single. Excuse me. She didn't want Jacob to become a side character or like a background character. She still wanted to keep him relevant, but also was determined that Bella and Edward were endgame from the beginning. And so she needed some kind of other reason to keep Jacob in the picture, because he normally hated the Cullens. So what's the only result to keeping him around the Cullens when he hates them? And Bella's obviously chosen someone else, and he's not in the running for Bella's love choice. Make him fall in love with her daughter. You know? Yeah. But that's what was popular then, though, to be fair. Like, not completely, but it's like, it stuck. Yeah. 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 Are we sure this is okay? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's really not. And that's where it's like, I make it into a big deal, and I make it into this whole thing, when in reality, age doesn't really matter in fictional stories. So it's like, I would be happy with a Jacob and Renesmee book. I just don't want them to be happily in love with no conflict or anything. Like, either I want them to establish themselves as best friend, like a best friend in print, because she mentions that it's mentioned earlier in the series that sometimes imprints don't end up together as a romantic couple. Like, the imprint will settle for whatever their imprint needs them to be. So it's like, it's established earlier in the series that sometimes that happens. So it's like, why not bring that back up? Why not let Jacob fall in love in his own time and have Renesmee fall in love with somebody else, and not be tied to this like imprint thing that was originally assumed to be to like best like offspring opportunity. You know, like that was like what they thought it was for originally. And it's like, you know, why not? I don't know. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 Okay, so along the same lines of books, there was no new Twilight announcement, but some people are still speculating, like, it's technically not the anniversary yet. Like, the anniversary is October 5th, so there's probably could be still time for her to, like, announce something. She did say that she was writing a new book, She didn't say it was with Twilight. She didn't say it was with the host or anything. It's not with anything of those things. It was just like a science fiction type, sci-fi type book that some people, I don't remember if it was her that described it this way, but some people have described it as kind of weird. I'm thinking she may have described it that way. So I'm curious to see like a new series from her. Now I'd be curious to kind of see her writing in today's world. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of curious on that one. We're getting the rest of the graphic novels finally. But she said, like, with writing, with illustrations and stuff like that, writing takes years. And so she said it is in the works, but there was no, like, timeline of when those will be done or anything. Like, it was just like, it will take ages. But she said there are plans to finish those because we've got all of Twilight and we got, like, half of New Moon, I guess. There's only 3 books, 3 graphic novels that were released. So we will eventually get the rest of them. And I guess there's a Midnight Sun series that's been announced, and that she's been in the writing room for the past year and has been very involved with the writing. And I guess like the biology, like the full biology, Midnight Sun. Apparently, Midnight Sun is getting a series, like a TV show series, I assume. Let me look this up to clarify. Upcoming, it's an animated series on Netflix that has adapted that's adapting. It says it's adapting her companion novel Midnight Sun, like Twilight from Edward. So it's like the book Midnight Sun, but it's going to be an animated show. Yes, yeah, I think that's what happened. So apparently it's going with Netflix, and some people are thinking, like, with the recent success with K-pop Demon Hunters, that some people are like, they probably just need to continue to ride that high and just kind of go with that. And so I guess she's been in the writing room for the past year. Sounds like she's pretty involved. And she said we are going to get, like, the full biology scene. We're going to get the full thing. Because I guess in the movie we didn't get, like, the full... You know, we're going to get the whole, like, biology scene, and there's, like, we'll get characters like Charlotte and Peter, and there's different things that are mentioned. Yeah, like, there's certain things that were mentioned in the books, or that are referenced in the books that we didn't really get in the movies much at all, and so we're going to get some of those things. Apparently. So it sounds like it's going to be more detailed, and apparently there's things that possibly could be that weren't in the book that's, like, being expanded upon for the show, maybe. But yeah. And then I found a picture of someone that did a Midnight Sun and Twilight reading guide. It was kind of like a tandem style read type thing. Yeah. Well, I can send you the link to the picture so you can at least have it's like the guide by guide, step by the guide for them. Yes. Okay. So there's BookTok. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 So, like, she insists that there was like editors that went through, and the editors told her that it was fine in the first rounds of editing. And then when apparently she got new editors, and like, I think it like, apparently, like, I think it's like on her website where she posted like clips. No, it was on her Patreon. She posted side-by-side pictures, but you couldn't see any of the comments, and you couldn't kind of really see, but apparently there was like those highlighted bits where it shows like people have made comment, you know, like the editor comments. It just showed the picture with the highlights. It didn't actually show any of the comments or anything like that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so apparently, and she made this whole, it's just a whole lot. So there was that part. And then some people didn't like the fact that she supposedly was going to focus on editing and all of this and the pre-order, like, and then she goes off and creates a Patreon and is like, well, I don't know. There's some people that felt like she was just trying, like, in it for the money kind of thing. And the fact that she created a Patreon and put these things behind a paywall kind of thing, like all of these updates behind a paywall, and it's like that whole bit. And then she made this big like post on Facebook, and she was talking about this business that she was running, this entrepreneur, like she kept bringing like entrepreneurs, like bringing the business side of it in place, and was talking about the illustrations a whole bunch. But she didn't really say a whole lot about writing and editing. And it's like, I honestly wonder if, like, does she even want to be a writer, or is she wanting to be an illustrator? Like, it's just like in that whole video that she made, like, I watched a majority of it, but I was using like the fast forward bit, so I can't remember like line by line. But it's like, it just feels like she mentions like the illustrations and the artwork and how they were going to do, she announced like the special edition that was going to have sprayed edges and new artwork and custom artwork and all of this other stuff. And it's like, people aren't asking for artwork. They're not asking for sprayed edges. They're asking that you edit it. And yeah, probably. Yes. Yeah. 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 And at one point, it's not like this now. Like, she's changed it on Goodreads, but like initially she had added those original editors to her and attached their names onto the book on Goodreads. And the book on Goodreads has a 1.6 stars on it rating right now. And it's like, a lot of people felt like that was a really low blow to put editors' names. I don't know. It's just like, a lot of people are wondering, because some things that she's mentioned before is that she'd spent like she'd spent like the last 10, 20 some year, 10-ish years writing it. And she'd started when she was like 12, writing it when she was 12. And a lot of people were wondering if the editors didn't give her feedback, and she just kind of chose, I don't like that. I want to keep it. I want to keep these things. I like the way it is. and chose not to make those edits, and then it releases and it feels like it's not edited, because it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. 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 Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Like, I know. And if you're wanting a more detailed story, there is a lady that I follow on YouTube. Her name is Book Lover Laura. She has like a 4-part video playlist of like explaining the whole story. Like the book first video's over an hour, and the next couple like book like part 2 is 30 minutes. Part 3 is like almost 50 minutes, and then book part 4 is another 30 minutes. So it gets a really detailed kind of like dive deep, like the words. All right, okay. Yes, the whole story. If you want to deep dive into this, she is a good one to go to. I've watched a few of her videos, and so she does do a pretty good job with diving into it. But it's like, yeah, it's, I don't know. And it's like, yeah. Yeah. And yeah. And there have been, yeah. Wyatt is just like, I think it's kind of like what you're saying. I think it's kind of like along the lines of what you're saying, is that people are just, when you make a response video and that video isn't focused on the main problem, it's focused on all the illustrations that you're doing and all the new things you're doing with this company, and it's like, that's not what people's problem is. Or like, you announce sprayed edge, it's like she's avoiding the main issue. And I think it's one of those things, like, normally it's like you would think it's not going to be that big of an issue. Few people get mad, they get over it. I think it's like a combination of several things. One, the sheer number of pre-orders that she had before it was like, when it was in pre-launch, like before it was even launched. I think that mixed with her response videos and the lack of ownership of the main issue, and like just not addressing the main issue, I think all of those kind of piled together is a reason why people are so like stuck on this. But I just, and it's like, when they did, there was a lady that I watched that went through and analyzed, I think I sent it to you too, but she went through and analyzed like the first page or so of the edited version. And it's like, one thing that she had mentioned, and I never really realized this, but it was like, when at the beginning, and you and I had like in-depth text conversations about this too, but like in the very first chapter, she does like a history lesson type first chapter, and it's like you get through like a page or so before the character even does anything, and it's like, I know I would completely like get very overwhelmed and just kind of halfway turned off just by that alone. And it's like, again, I wonder, are the editors like explaining this to her, and she's just insisting this is how she wants to start it. And there was some like word usage that was kind of like a word, like it was like a bigger word that I had never heard of before. But it was like word usage, like, is there a better way of saying this? You know, I just... Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
They see a tree and they think about how the forest comes alive,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. There was something to do with like the trees knowing some history, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So you don't like info dump, and it feels kind of like,
Okay.
part of me feels like
Pause. Okay, random
she's
pause.
going too big.
Streamlabs does this where it will randomly mute mics, and your mic,
Oh no.
I don't know if it was mine or yours. I think it was yours muted. Hopefully you weren't muted too long. So I apologize for that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Okay. I'm
Hopefully.
here. Hopefully I haven't been muted for too long.
Okay.
Um
We're talking
but
about
yeah,
the
we were
Audrey
talking about
Winters scandal. We mentioned that there were some pages released. It was very big, blocky text. And if Joanna was the editor, we should have taken her suggestions that she would give her about incorporating it into the story and not just dumping everything at the beginning. All right, continue. I apologize.
It's okay.
That's my fault.
It's okay. So
I don't know
it's
what
like,
I'm doing
and
to
instead
do
of
that.
having like a long paragraph to tell like this story that's like relevant to your history's lore, you could have two characters in a tavern having a conversation about it. You could have the character, if they walk and they see a tree and they could think, oh, I remember the legend of this tree, and like then you can launch into it there in a small paragraph. You know, you sprinkle in the details. Your opening needs to be a hook that hooks the reader.
Yeah.
And part of me also, it feels like she's going, I do this so much. You go so big that it's like too big at first, and you lose yourself to the world building, and there's no story, or there's no character arc or whatever. And because I watched her video, and she talks a lot about, my team and I are working on building the history of this thing. And if you look at her Patreon, she focuses, like we said, on the illustrations and the multimedia thing that she's trying to do. But she talks about how the team is working on the world. And it's like they're trying to establish the lore and all of this extra things in her world that doesn't pertain to just writing the actual book, and not just writing the lore behind your story. I get it. We all get caught up in world building, especially authors like epic fantasy or epic sci-fi authors who love the world building part of it. And you get stuck in that world building part, and you forget that there needs to be a story there too, if that makes sense. Now, I don't know, I haven't read the rest of the book. Maybe there is some sort of story there, but it kind of seems like to me that's what happened.
Yeah. And it's just like, and when you mentioned that she talks a lot about like the team is working on this and the team is working on it, I'm like, are you the writer or is the team the writer? And that's where it's like, it feels like, and that's where like there was one kind of reactor that I was watching that mentioned is like, maybe she comes from a family of business owners, because she's coming from it from like a business standpoint more so than a writer, like an indie writer type standpoint. It almost feels like she is a business owner rather than the writer of the story. And so it's like, it just, I don't know, it feels like either like a lack of ownership or maybe like a lack of confidence, and she's using the team as like a cushion to, I don't know, it just feels like
hide behind the team.
Yeah, it just feels weird. And so we'll see
and
what
for
happens.
me,
I don't know with this whole thing. Sorry, continue. What were you saying?
Yeah. It's okay. I was just saying that I mentioned earlier that I feel like she got overwhelmed with all the amount of pre-orders, and she was packaging books. And I've done a Kickstarter. I only had like 40 some odd backers, and like I don't know how many percentage of that had physical things, but when I did Immortal last year, and it was pretty overwhelming, even for like 20 books, like to try to figure all of that out, get all the addresses, sign it, make sure you got everybody's order right. And then afterwards dealing with like any that were lost or hurt in the mail. My books got really beat up in the mail, so that was an issue that I had. And this is why I told you this. This is why when I'm doing a Kickstarter and the aftermath of a Kickstarter, I set that time aside by itself, and I don't actually do any editing during that time period, because you'll get so distracted that you won't be able to focus on either one thing or the other. Yeah. And so for me, if you're packaging books and dealing with like all of that stuff, it's like she should have been editing during that time and either doing one or the other. So depending on which needed a priority. But it seems like the editing should have been done before the orders were packaged, so that's also kind of confusing too. But
okay. Let's see. Go over, okay, I'm trying to figure out how early the mic thing went out, so go over your Kickstarters one last time, just to double check to make sure, because I think you got through them, but I don't want to, like, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, so go over those one more time, because I'm thinking it was about...
Hopefully it got us fangirling over this book series.
Oh, yeah, it got all of that, but I'm thinking...
So Blood in Bordeaux was the first Kickstarter that we talked about. Paranormal women's dark fantasy romance. So if Akatar was about a fierce middle-aged single mom forced to play consort in a deadly vampire court with a morally gray incubus, and we talked about how it's interesting that it's a single mom middle-aged character, because we don't have we don't have middle-aged single moms in romantices a lot of times. The author is Tabitha Slick, and the cover is really gorgeous. We talked about that. And how it's got Cinderella retelling vibes, vampire court, incubus, shadow daddy, that sort of thing. So if that's your thing, the link to these are in the description, in the landing page. And then the next one's called Beginnings by M.H. Elric. It's a Christian fantasy short story collection. So, and that one's a free book. So, and that one's top. I added that to the landing page as well. So that's Beginnings by M.H. Elric, Christian fantasy short story collection. So those are really clean and everything. So that's that, on those. So those are the Kickstarters.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking it muted about half of it, and I'm just like our Twilight discussion, you were muted for that, and I'm just like, dang it. I'm literally not clicking the button. I have no idea why it does that. It's done that a few times now. I don't know if I need to turn some like keyboard shortcuts off or something, if I'm hitting a shortcut or something. Maybe
I need to start screen recording from my side, and then I can just replace my audio if I need to later or something. I don't know, but we don't really, I guess you can't do that in a live, because you can't edit a live stream, but we will figure it out.
Did you have any other things that you
actually, yes, I did actually have a couple of other things. So this one I specifically saw and thought of you. Okay. So the cast has been announced for the new Harry Potter audiobook, and this is like a heavy team. So we have Keira Knightley. She plays Elizabeth in Pirates of the Caribbean. And of course, Umbridge.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Kit Harington, so he plays Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. I love Kit Harington. He's gonna play Gilderoy Lockhart.
Ooh, okay.
And he's got a really good voice. Okay. I don't know who Iwan Rheon is, but he's gonna be Remu Lupin.
Okay.
James McAvoy will be Alistair Moody. So James McAvoy is one of the best actors of our time, because he does so many different, he played Mr. Tumnus, he plays that psychopath in Split, and all the different personality voices. He is so good, and he plays the new Professor X in the new X-Men, so he is a fine actor.
Honestly, I'm more excited for the audiobook, for the full cast audiobook than I am for the TV show. This is ridiculous.
Maybe I will actually read it, and I'll be listening to it. But yeah, and then Simon Pegg will be Arthur Weasley. So, and they have, the post actually has like the picture of the actor and then a picture of the character from the movie. So it's like a nice little comparison. Cool. So I feel like that's a really good, yeah, it's like, it's actually got me kind of excited, and I don't really care for Harry Potter. So I thought that was cool. So I had to share that.
Sweet. And there's something about like the full cast audiobooks, like it literally feels like a movie. Like, and
I don't even see like visuals because it's just like it works so well. So I love it. I feel like it's gonna be really strong too. And then the last thing that I had was so Frida McFadden is one of my favorite thriller authors, and she wrote, I think I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden. So The Housemaid by her is one that I've been meaning to read. It's been on my wish list. I haven't actually bought it yet, but The Housemaid is actually getting a adaptation. I think it's a movie, and it's going to be December 2025, December 25th, 2025. So it's going to be a Christmas movie, Christmas this year. So it's got Sydney Sweeney as a character, and then Amanda Seyfried and Brandon Skelkner, and then Michelle Morone. So Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney are going to be the lead roles and stuff. So the plot of the book follows Millie, a young woman who's down on her luck and in desperate need of a job when she's hired to work as a maid for an upscale couple, Nina and Andrew. But there's more than meets the eye with this family, and Nina in particular, as Millie soon finds out. Meanwhile, Millie has her own history and secrets, which are also part of what unfolds in the story. She does epic twists and things, and like, so that one was like, because The Inmate was like so good, and with that one there was kind of a love triangle, and it was like her ex had committed a murder and was in prison, but she was having to see him again because she started working at that same prison as like the doctor, and so she was seeing him, and he was like insisting that he's innocent, and this guy that she's currently dating is actually one of her friends that was there that night. And so the mystery of who really committed the murder, is he guilty, is he innocent, and then is the guy that she's currently with, was he actually the guy who did it? And I literally could not figure it out. I could not, like, it was just so intense. So she's a really good thriller
so that should
author.
Be good.
So it'll be interesting to watch that. I kind of want to read the book first, before watching the movie on hers, just because it is a thriller.
To kind of jump back in and
read the book maybe. Kind of needed to be in a thriller mood, which I haven't been in. So
fair.
But the next time that I am, that's probably going to be the first thriller that I read, unless there's something random and new comes up. So that's all I had. So
I'm still bummed out that the thing muted. It made me so mad. I don't know what happened. It's like when I go into Google Chrome and I take my eyes off of Streamlabs, somehow my headphone, because like your mic is like my headphone sound, like it's labeled headphones, and it gets muted somehow. And like I'm not typing, because like all of the shortcuts are numbers, and I'm never typing any numbers or anything, but somehow it gets muted and it keeps doing it. It's not consistently. It might be consistent. I'll have to look and see if it's like a consistent thing. But I apologize. It's frustrating.
It's okay.
I don't know what I'm doing. I will figure out what I'm doing, and I will stop doing it. I promise. I get. But
it's okay.
Anyway,
we'll work it out.
Yeah. So ignore me, even though I was the only one you could hear.
It's all right. We'll work it out.
I hate technology. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Technology is so frustrating. Hey, at least we figured it out during the stream so I could repeat what I said. There have been ones that like somebody else pointed out a couple of days later and is like, well, I can't do, like, we couldn't do anything about that now. The stream was over with, but I'm glad they mentioned it, so we knew there was an issue on that one. So, but it's like, at least we caught it during the stream. So
I'll have to go in and see if we can edit something, and I can just like make a comment like saying, just if you sorry about the audio, it's like a one-sided audio, we fix it at this time. But So
when I share the thing, I'll let the Kickstarter people know. Like, I mentioned it at this time, but we had an audio issue, and I repeated it at this time.
I think it caught that one. I think it muted you when I started talking about Twilight. I think that's when it did it. So I think you were just muted for the Twilight bit, and then the first chunk of the discussion on the like drama bit. So I don't know if they heard your first explanation of the whole Audrey Winters drama or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's awkward.
Yeah.
I guess you put it together. So
yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, mostly the Twilight. I talked about how I didn't want Jacob to get screwed over again by getting rejected, but we don't like the Renesmee Jacob twist at the end, and it felt kind of like one of those things as a writer that you just throw together at the last minute so that he could have someone without, but it was kind of the gist of what we were talking about. And so.
All right. Well, let us know what you're reading, and if you have any if there's any news with the whole book, like indie author drama or whatever. It feels like the whole TikTok viral, how things go viral so quickly on TikTok. It feels like for me, it feels like it's encouraging people to not be paid to like rush through things and rush to release stuff just so they can ride the viral high. And it's like, yeah, you make money quick, but then it's like at the same time, it's not their best work as many sometimes, and and it results in these kind of like drama bits where people are angry and they're like demanding their money back. And it's like, I've never seen somebody, a large group of people like this demand their money back from somebody because of bad editing and different things. And there are multiple reasons why some people are demanding their money back, but it's like,
well, we even had that kind of with Fourth Wing. It was so popular when Iron Flame came out. The first print run had like glitches in the prints or something like that, and then she had to reprint them, but the publisher took care of all of that. And that's the benefit of being a trad publisher, because you have the publisher behind you to fix all of that. Indie author, like, you're the only one to blame, so it's like, and then having to handle that yourself. But then she didn't take responsibility for it, so it kind of made it. But so going fast never helps anybody, and it's always hurt more than it helps. And so I totally agree with you there. And in general, I'm having my own issues with TikTok right now, and I'm actually considering leaving the platform. And it's been a huge decision for me because I'm trying to reach new readers that way, and I've just now grown to like get pretty decent amount of numbers on TikToks, but I may have to leave because of other stuff. So it's a very toxic platform, and my eyes have kind of been open to the toxicity of it, kind of. So, but
well, and it's just people not realizing that there's human beings behind a screen, and
the lack of humanity is
what you type has an impact, because you're not talking to a computer, you're talking to a person. And I think that social media as a whole has the longer it's been out, the worse it's gotten. Like, I remember, like, you and I, like, you probably remember this too, like when Facebook first became a thing, it was all about like you didn't friend people just to say that just because you halfway knew who they were. Like, you would friend people that you genuinely wanted to stay connected with, and like accepting someone's friend request on Facebook was huge, because it meant that you guys were like close enough that you wanted to stay connected. And it's like now there's people with like billions and billions of followers because they want the numbers and because they want the money that's behind it. And it's like, it's again, like everything else in this world, it's become a business. And when things become a business, that's when the humanity of it's kind of lost. And, corporate greed and inhumanity kind of explodes, and it's just sad.
Yeah, it really is.
So.
But
yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we'll see you later. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
On that note, subscribe to us on YouTube.
That's funny. Oh, the irony is not wrong.
Yeah. So, you know what? We gripe about social media while we are on a social media platform right now. So it's like, you give and take. So yeah.
It's the benefits too, and I feel like people just in general aren't responsible enough to like handle the negativity that comes from it and like be responsible people. And that's where the toxicity kind of comes in at. But
at the end of the day,
let us know what you guys are reading.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you have to make decisions that are best for you, and you know, wherever that takes you, where that leads you, is just you got to put you first and take care of you.
So for sure, especially if it's going to damper somebody's mental health, like that's where it, you know, you need to take a break from social media.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
But yeah, let us know what you guys are reading and like what you're looking forward to reading and stuff like that. So
yes, for sure. And we will see you next week, and I will figure out what I'm doing to mute things, and I will stop muting things. All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yep. Talk to you next week. Bye.